Oh, I didn't even see the countdown. All I just saw was go.
Oh, well, I mean, I can't be expected to control everything.
It's a fast countdown too. It's not one number per second.
It's ready, set, go. All right. It's showing up on Substack now.
All right, so we have a Substack.
We do. And people.
Oh, people were even joining. Yeah, I find that amazing. I find that very amazing. I'm just waiting for the I'm waiting for the YouTube one to catch up.
I mean, it's live.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Oh, we've got Kryn in the chat on Substack.
Yay. Okay. Cool. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Deep Exhale. For this week, we are going to hope Brandon comes into the session because Brandon is a band
An integral member.
Yes, an integral band member. Brandon is the bass player, I'm guessing, or maybe the drummer. But we can't live without him.
I just have to say, I wanted to play drums when I was younger, and I was told that drums weren't an instrument.
What?
Yeah.
You were told. Say that again.
I was told that drums were not an instrument.
Drums are not an instrument.
That's not an idea that I participate in holding, but
how can drums not be an instrument? I don't. I mean, oh, we have Frosty McGillicuddy, by the way.
Cool.
I should point out that in an earlier point of this week, Frosty McGillicuddy indicated that they love my posts because they're uplifting or whatever. So I hope we continue in that trend. Frosty, I appreciate that you came by. So on the Deep Exhale today, your body knows what your therapist doesn't. So every bathroom stall, every pronoun correction, every moment that you've made yourself smaller to survive in a room, that isn't all. It isn't about healing like they're whole and you're broken, because they're probably just as broken as you are. It's about honoring testimony to your nervous system to keep things going. And so with that, I will go right into the discussion. And so we've talked about this before. The body keeps score. The body remembers before the mind even understands. So when your chest tightens when someone stands too close, or your jaw clenches at certain vocal tones, or you flinch before you understand why, that's not weakness. That's your nervous system doing exactly whatever trauma it is that you had trained it to do. You catalog threats, you prepare for impact, it keeps you breathing. The body doesn't give a shit about your rational mind explaining that you're safe. You might not be. It remembers when X happened and you had to hold your breath. It remembers when Y happened and people didn't use words in the way that they should. Going to the doctor and it felt like an interrogation. Your muscles carry maps of every moment where you had to shrink or perform or disappear or whatever. And trauma lives in that tissue before it even becomes a narrative. So shaking hands, the exhaustion, the lack of sleep, nightmares, having to engage in the use of illicit substances to put you to sleep because you can't go to sleep naturally. No, I have no idea what that is like, but really, I do know what that's like. Those are all testimonies to your body keeps giving when your mouth learned it wasn't safe to speak. And so in this, and I'm going to quote Tourmaline when I say this, the body isn't a site of memory, is a site of memory, and we carry our histories written on our own flesh. And so to this, I have to tell myself, I had to do this week because got on the train one day and to come home from work. It was on Tuesday, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. And I just, like, every time I get on the train, I sit next to a door and I shell up and I try to look like not talkable to. And as it turns out, what happened was a woman approached me and started talking to me. And so, I always have this guarded sense of self when shit like that happens. And so finally, she just asked me, she says, your head adornment is really cute looking. I'm guessing you wear it because you don't have a lot of hair. And I said, yeah, going through gender transition, getting my hair back is a real challenge. And she's like, well, you're not alone. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, I've been in transition for 4 years or whatever. So then I felt safe or whatever. But that didn't stop me when she first started talking. I was feeling like, okay, where is this going to go? Is this going to turn into an argument? Is this going to turn into, an attack? And so what I find, even at my age, for as long as I've been through this process, that it's difficult still to trust things in those situations. And I ask myself, what does my body try to tell me that my mind keeps dismissing? What protective response did I have to suppress to survive? And what would it feel like to finally complete it and not worry about it? Why am I still performing safety for others while my nervous system is spider sense saying, get the fuck out? So that's that question. And guess who we're going to pick on first?
Oh boy. I don't even know how to lead into this, really.
Oh, I can tell you exactly.
Yeah.
You could talk about paternal experiences.
Ugh. I feel like I've had enough of those recently. Paternal or maternal?
No, paternal.
Oh boy. All right.
Because I know you had to emotionally monitor with him a bunch.
Well, I mean, a lot of that on the surface was just because he didn't want either me or my sister to be emotional. He always wanted us to be logical. Above all else, he wanted us to be able to look at things from a logical standpoint. And that's, something we'd get chastised for if we were reacting to something emotionally. Although I think my child's reaction to him saying that she was behaving like an emotional teenage girl, and Kate turned to him and said, well, I am, so what do you expect? And I was just like, that's one of my favorite memories of them interacting. It's just like, well, yeah, duh.
That whole, like, is that a thing? Like, your parents, oh, you're just a hormonal teenager or whatever.
Yeah.
I wish someone would say that to me now, because I have the chemical body of a 16-year-old girl. Oh, you're just an emotional teenager. Oh gosh.
Yeah, second puberty's hard.
Really, how hard? You're still in second puberty. Really though, so you don't feel like you had to emotionally monitor? Who did you more emotionally monitor with more? Your dad or your mom? For me,
Ooh,
it was my mom. So I mean, that's obvious.
I don't know that one was more than the other, because my mother was definitely like, where there definitely had to be some emotional monitoring there. It was more of she was mirroring his opinions.
Right.
And now that his opinions are a moot point, she's actually starting to form some of her own, which is a little refreshing, and also a little tedious to explain things through.
Tedious. Why? Tedious how?
Like, I can respect the fact that she wants to understand, but then there's also the fact that, like, she has all these preconceived notions of things that aren't necessarily true in general, or may not be true for me, and there's a lot of assumptions and things that I just would rather not try to explain to her.
Because explaining them to her would be too complicated.
Too complicated in the way that, like, it just won't ever really make sense to her. Like, me trying to explain to her my idea of intimacy, and that, 75% of intimacy does not involve sex or romance. She doesn't understand that.
Wait, so love has to be involved?
In her mind, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm up. Yeah, so
You're very soft, by the way, Miranda.
oh, I'm sorry. It's this lotion.
Oh my god, I'm so tickled.
Yeah, so like talking about how like the body tracks trauma and stuff. I have had a couple of experiences lately at my local park where I walk my dog of transphobes harassing me. Um, so, um, approaching me, calling me slurs. And it really, like, I'm just walking my dog, right? and then they just pounce. But like taking Lizzie for a walk is supposed to be something that's relaxing for me, and overall it is. But whenever whether I'm on the street or whether I'm walking her at the park, if I see somebody and I don't know them, then my guard has to raise immediately, and I have to do all of the situational awareness stuff to see if that person or those people are going to be a threat in any way. And so I've noticed that my body takes that on in like the way that my back tenses out and the way that like
What happened?
I'm prone to curling my toes and um, so it's definitely like a whole body reaction, just the need to be situationally aware. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think you're pretty much right.
Me too.
I think you're pretty much right. Yeah, Brandon, you're late to the game.
I'm an idiot. Sorry.
No, well, there's nothing idiotic about it.
Well, maybe.
No, but there's not. There's not. So the talking about trauma, where the body remembers before the mind understands. You haven't been listening, have you?
No, I just got home.
Oh, from where?
Oh, I had to run errands and stuff, but I just completely.
He was on a
Lost.
hot date.
Oh yeah, yep.
I was gonna say that smile when he came in says there's a story.
No. There really
No,
isn't.
there has
There's
to be a story now.
just me not paying attention, and that's all. I mean, I just ran errands and stuff, and was out longer than I intended to be, and not paying attention. I was distracted, I guess,
Distracted.
in my mind. I don't know. The last couple. What? Why are you laughing?
No, okay. You said
I'm sorry,
in your mind, I
I'm-
wanted to hear the rest.
Huh?
The last couple of, and then you stopped.
Oh, the last couple of days. It's just been like the news and watching a couple of different live videos talking about, all the Minneapolis and ICE, and it's just been like, I don't know. I don't listen to watch a lot of news, and because it just really, sometimes it really gets to me. And so I try to moderate how much I take in and all that. And the last few days has been a lot.
It's been a barrage.
With respect to Minneapolis, I have a former stepchild who is a police officer in that region.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally had a conversation with him where I asked him, how bad is it there? And he's like, well, it's like this. And when he told me that, I was like, well, fuck. So it really is as bad as we think. And he's like, I would say that it is. And they say it's going to get worse. And so, not to go into a political discussion necessarily while we're talking about trauma and survival, but, it's gotten bad enough now that there are members of the GOP who, for instance, are trying to sway Trump away from citing the Insurrection Act on the state of Minnesota. And so, and there's even GOP senators and House members who are saying, okay, if Trump invades Greenland, we will support impeachment.
They keep drawing lines in the sand, and he steps over them, and then they draw new lines. I don't trust him with them.
Right. There's a Bugs Bunny cartoon where Bugs Bunny's standing there with Yosemite Sam, and he tells Sam, I dashed you to step across this line, and he steps, and then Bugs Bunny draws another line, and
Yeah.
I dash your stuff across this line. Well, what happens when we finally get to the cliff and Trump falls off the cliff? That we need to hurry up.
I was listening to a conservative news program, and what they were saying is a lot different viewpoint of Minneapolis and what's going on than the what probably is reality.
Right.
It was just crazy.
Completely. Sorry, I'm updating a family member. Give me just a second. Keep talking, Brandon.
Oh, well.
Keep talking, Brandon. Keep talking.
I don't know what else to say. What have you been, I don't want you to recap everything you've been talking about.
That's you literally breached into 2/3 of the way through the first topic.
Oh, well, then what's the next one?
By the way, did you pre-read that? You haven't pre-read the topic, right? So the final topic is the fun topic today, which is you have to talk about a life experience in a David Attenborough-like way. And I totally wanted to see how you would react to that.
Do I know David Attenborough?
Are you kidding me? Really?
I can't say that I know the name. Like, I'm familiar with the name, but I have no idea who to connect that to.
Miranda, is it just me? I mean, you know who David Attenborough is, right?
Yeah, I do. And Sarah and Brandon have both heard his voice narrating things. They just don't know his name, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
That's probably the case.
I am terrible with names, so that very well. So
David Attenborough is like he's like the documentary guy who, like, we see two specimens walking up and behaving in a blah, 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 blah way. Isn't that fascinating? My God, that's fascinating.
I see.
I'll do it first so you can sort of get the jig or whatever. But so the next thing is micro successes. When you live in a world where, being successful or not is controlled by, your own feelings and having to survive in the world that we live in, you measure survival against people who didn't have to do anything. When I get on the train every morning, I feel like that's a pretty large feat for me personally, because I'm usually dressed in a way that, people look and people stare, and you get stink eye and dead eye, and I wish you weren't alive eye and shit like that. And so, measured against that, it's kind of hard to. So you have to take, you have to take what victories you can get. You dismiss getting out of bed as nothing. You wave off. You had to negotiate that visibility. You wave off using your real name as, using your chosen name as basic. You minimize all of the things that you do as bullshit. Those aren't mundane acts. They're daily revolutions against people who are just actively trying to erase us, regardless of our gender or orientation or presentation. Every boundary that you hold is a fortress. But for me personally, I've internalized, their measurement system where only grand gestures count, where suffering doesn't matter unless it's spectacular. Meanwhile, you try building cathedrals from moments that they'll never see because they take them for granted. Somebody that calls you Wendy when they hand you a cup of coffee in a coffee house because you told them that's what your name was. You know, and they'll never actually see that. And I should say, and again, as I do, Audre Lorde, I am deliberate and afraid of nothing. That's the mindset that, you know, we have to have. I mean, you take small victories. You know, every time I keep a victory journal, every time somebody says my boots look cute on the train, or every time a coworker comes up to me and says, you look really good in that dress and you should keep wearing that, or any other positive affirmation that I get. Because when I go over those later, then, you know, my life doesn't feel as complicatedly sad or depressing. You know, as a trans person, that's a hard thing. I'm sure it's no different for anyone else, even Brandon. You know, that's an infrastructure of resistance. And so at week's end, I read them back and I remember those experiences, and then I feel good about it. And it's easier to not be depressed or have anxiety when you have people doing that. And so that's why you know, the question then becomes, what small victory am I dismissing today that actually required enormous strength for me to accomplish? Whose measuring stick was I using to judge my own survival? You shouldn't use somebody else's. What would it mean to honor whatever daily courage I go through? And if I celebrated my micro victories like they mattered, what monument would come out of that as a result? You know, so, you know, they say baby steps. So I'm gonna pick on the late boy.
I knew it. Well, I feel like all of my successes are micro.
Why? Okay, now I have to ask why.
Oh, I don't know. They just I just don't. A lot of times I don't see them as very large.
Because you're
Today-
measuring them against somebody else's method of
Yeah.
measuring.
Bingo.
And,
Bingo.
and also, you live your life every day, so like sometimes the micro victories add up over time to a big victory, but it's hard to see the bigger picture when you're so close to it.
Well, let's see. Let's start at the beginning of the day.
A day in the life of Brandon.
4:30 in the morning, we see a black cat whining and waking the gay man out of his slumber.
Wait, you're already going to part 4. We're not there
He
yet.
skipped part.
Oh, I thought that was where we were supposed to go.
No. That's the end of the lie.
Oh, sorry.
That was a great narration.
I mean, it was absolutely beautiful, Brandon, and I didn't want to stop you because it sounded really nice.
Well, I'll try to repeat it, but victories, micro victories, micro successes. Is that what you said? Micro successes.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I mean, really, getting up out of bed is kind of a micro success, and not just giving into depression and despair, going down into the depths of despair, and just staying in bed all day instead of getting up and actually trying to move on with life and pretend that everything's okay, or that people want to hear your mindless blathering and jokes rather than take things seriously and watch the news.
I would tell you, Brandon, that you would probably be shocked, but I'm sure that there are people who listen to you or read the things you write, and I think you would be shocked at who is inspired by those things. I really do.
I do take when people do comment and say things, it does feel really good, and that's one thing I had to get used to when I started writing online. Not a lot of people are willing to take the time to comment and to click the like button. Sometimes is kind of a chore. It's like,
Right.
just click. It's just click the heart.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
But I digress. We'll just not go into that part. But when I do get comments and things, I do count that as a success, or to say that your story touched me in some way, or that I could relate to what you're saying about, I don't know, your dead boyfriend or something like that. I don't know, just whatever it may be. But
wait, so did you meet the guy yet?
Oh dear. Well, no, not yet.
Oh,
Not
God.
yet. We're still negotiating times and days and things like that.
Okay. I really want that date to happen, by the way.
Well, I'm still planning on it. I don't know how it'll turn out, but so I guess, okay, there we go. There's a win. There's a micro success that I've actually been online and talked to someone, and they, in their demented state, have agreed to meet me, and we've decided to have a date or a meeting of sorts. It just, it hasn't happened yet, but we're still talking, and he hasn't ghosted me or vice versa. So that's a micro success. Right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I still have a lot of background noise, so hopefully you can hear me okay. As far as like micro victories go, I was thinking about, Brandon said that sometimes people will read things and not even put a heart by it, so it's hard for us to know really who is reading what we put out there or how it's influencing them. But I had a friend a couple weeks ago text me out of the blue and was like, hey, we haven't talked in a while, but I wanted to let you know that I've been reading your stuff, and it's helped me understand trans people more, and it's helped me in arguments that I have with my conservative parents who, have bought into all of the propaganda. And that was like, that really meant a lot because, we put stuff out there that is like, here's who we are, and, spill our whole souls into the public sphere. And, like from a political standpoint, we really need allies to be speaking up and defending us when we're not in the room. But it's hard to know if people are actually doing that, unless they tell you. And so that was really encouraging. for me to hear that from my friend, and made me like I've had so many doubts um, about my writing and what I do, and knowing that it actually matters to somebody, and uh, that what I write like connects us more as friends, meant so much. You know.
I would agree with that. That certainly qualifies.
Yay, I get to unmute. I have to agree with Brandon on the getting out of bed, at least this week, because that's been a struggle. I've never been one to struggle this much getting up in the morning, and I find myself just not even wanting to try getting out of bed. It's not like I said, it's not something I've struggled with before. Usually it's just like, all right, time to get up. Eyes are open, gotta get the feet on the ground. And there's just no desire to do that. So yes, every day that I'm able to wrestle myself out from under the covers to actually face the day at a reasonable hour is a success. Something that impacted me more than I thought it was going to was back around Thanksgiving. I had sent links to some of my fiction to a coworker because she loves to read. And when I told her that I was writing some dark fiction, she's like, "Ooh, I'm intrigued. Let me know where to find it." I didn't realize that she was going to go and read absolutely everything that I have ever written. And so over the Thanksgiving break, I get a text message saying that she had finished reading the first one. I sent her the other links for the other 3. And then after Thanksgiving, before we're back to work, she admits that she went ahead and read everything and thanked me for the opportunity for her to know me better. And we had a discussion about like the domestic things that are going on, and if I needed support because she's been through a divorce and stuff like that. So emotional support, guidance, whatever. And it was an unexpected victory, I would say, because most of the people at work don't know anything about what I'm going through internally or externally. So to be unexpectedly seen and it not be negative I'd call that a victory.
What are you going through internally or externally?
I mean, externally is the divorce. Internally is finding out that I'm queer. So, to put it briefly. But like, other small victories is like, the other day I actually cooked dinner instead of getting takeout. That felt like a significant small victory.
All right, I'll let you off the hook for that. I'll let you off the hook. By the way, does everybody note that I changed your titles to your domains? I think that works so much better.
Oh.
That way I don't have to run the marquee at the bottom, and everybody knows who's talking. So we do these things, and you have to make space for your ability to react emotionally. Emotion builds up, and if you internalize it enough, like some of us do, you reach a critical point where you're not gonna. It's just I can't contain it anymore. And so you hold it together until you can't. And then you explode or you implode or you disappear into whatever numbing agent is closest. For some of us, that's cannabinoids. For others of us, it's a really tall glass of scotch. And yet for some of us, it's both. But, you've learned that feeling of that full weight of whatever that shit it is that would crack you open. So you just white knuckle through it. White knuckle, squeeze really hard. Your body becomes a pressure cooker and it doesn't have a release valve. You have to have that. And so the steam has nowhere to go when panic hits. As a person who suffers from panic attacks regularly, because my emotional state builds up so much, and yet I live in a world where everybody, or most non-queer people around me, is like, you should just deal with it. Everyone else isn't navigating daily microaggressions, systemic erasure, and the exhaustion of translating myself to other people for survival. My nervous system isn't dramatic; it's drowning in the shit. And so you need controlled releases. Caring for myself is not a self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. And that is a sheer act of political warfare. And so you have to find releases that let intensity move through you without harming other individuals or yourself in the same capacity. Screaming in my car, hitting a punching bag, writing letters to myself that I will never send, writing letters to people that I will never send, sobbing in the shower, which I do a lot, where no one can hear or be aware of the fact that I'm crying because I'm in the shower. But you have to create when shit gets unbearable, spaces. You pick up the pen and start fucking around with the pen to make the anxiety go away. Smells and music and trip as many senses as you can all at once, and that causes the panic to go away because it resets your brain. But me personally, I have to ask myself, what am I holding on to that's too heavy to carry around anymore, and how can I get rid of it? Where could I release pressure in doses instead of waiting for it to just explode and turn into something larger? What would it look like to honor my coping mechanisms as survival tools instead of just failures? It's easy for me to see those things as failures. The reality is they're not. And I then have to ask myself, who taught me that feeling deeply is a weakness? And what do I gain by even believing if that's true or not? For me, it was the male figures in my life that did that. That's why I believe that. But do I gain anything from believing that? No, because that doesn't apply. Or if it did apply, it doesn't anymore.
Yay. I would have to say that my the pressure release valve, I guess you call it, my outlet has changed over the years, but it's always been something creative. When I was in high school and I would feel, which at the time I didn't have the language to explain what it was I was feeling. Partially because I wasn't allowed to seek out therapy, so I didn't I didn't have any of those tools. All I could do was cope. And so now I recognize that what I was feeling then was probably depression. And I had a lot of art supplies at my disposal. So that's between art and cooking, that's what I would use as my outlet. Was I really good at either one? No. But that's not why I was doing it. Now I'd say that like the bulk of the things that I've picked up as hobbies have kind of become what I go to when I need to kind of tune out and recenter. And I mean that's, anything from the mad scientist stuff to, the gardening. Maybe not so much the writing, just because that ends up becoming more of a digging up more stuff to process. But yeah, I don't know. Graphic design I think falls under that too. Making different graphics for advertising, or working on templates for writing articles. But yeah, always something creative at this point. Although I don't know that I would ever view those things as failures. That I don't know.
Why would you? I mean,
Yeah.
it's difficult for me to conceptualize why people would see that as a failure. The psychology says people see it that way. I don't understand that. I really don't.
Well, part of my pressure release, I guess, would be writing and music, playing piano. Sometimes I think it's necessary to cry. When you were talking about crying in the shower, it reminded me of an. Did you? I'm sure you probably watched Mork and Mindy at some point. There was an episode where Mindy was sad about something, and she said she was gonna take a walk, and her dad said, "But it's raining," and she said, "I like walking in the rain. That way, no one can see you cry." And yeah, that's I kind of adopted that for a while. I was like, yeah, I like walking in the rain. Back when I was more or not as much in control of my depression, I guess. Part of controlling the pressure valve is knowing how much to take in, as far as like I was talking about the news and things like that. I think you have to be informed up to an extent, but I think there's a point of an overload, So I try to regulate that, and of course, avoiding a lot of social media is important. At least, well, especially things like Facebook, where the algorithm intentionally puts things in front of your face that's contentious, or they know that is not something that you support or whatever. But
You mean like they do with Substack occasionally?
I don't know. I haven't had that experience. From what Substack, for the most part, I think is pretty good at tailoring. You're able to tailor your own feed by what you like and everything. It seems like because I've kind of played with that. Like, I'm getting tired of seeing this person, and so I just stop liking their stuff. And after a few days, I don't see their stuff as much anymore. But I mean, I'm sure it happens on every platform to an extent. But from what I've heard, Facebook is, I mean, they intentionally and they've internal documents have been leaked and things that show you that they do that intentionally. But yeah, I mean, and even if something does come up that you see that you don't like or agree with, at least you can just, scroll by it and look at other people that and trust that whatever that they're putting out is going to be more in line what you agree with, or that makes you feel better, or those kinds of things. But yeah. Oh, and well, hanging out with friends, I think, is a big help also. Getting drunk and high with your friend on the weekend is helpful sometimes. Just kind of let loose a bit.
Getting drunk and high with somebody that you.
Well, either or, both, whatever.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, I love an and/or.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make Miranda talk.
Okay, so for me, like my coping mechanisms have changed drastically as I progressed through my transition. Because growing up, like what was shown to me as the ideal boy, the ideal man, was a certain type of stoicness calling itself strength, and physical domination being very important to identity. So that was something that I poured myself into sports to kind of meet those goals that I inherited. So much so that I ended up tearing up my knees playing tennis as a teenager and having 3 knee surgeries before I was 21. But there was always the do more, work harder, train harder, prove yourself on the court, prove yourself on the field. And so I've really focused on moving from that sort of prove yourself externally idea and prove yourself by what expectations are of you, and trying to cope with things by like being kind to myself, being authentic to myself. So my writing poetry definitely helps with that. It helps me sort out what's really on my mind. But also the things I do to take care of other people are very important to me, in that they kind of hook around and help me take care of me. So, lately I've been um, posting more on social media about the meals I cook for my family. Um, and part of that is like that's just good social media content, right? But for me, it's like that experience of caring for my wife, caring for my children, um, showing them what care looks like from me helps me take care of me, care for me, think positively about myself.
I think that's true too for me. I mean, I feel like I do the same thing. Like I feel better when I'm making someone else feel better.
It's easier to feel good about the things that you're dealing with when you can, when you do things for other people, and then it becomes more obvious to you. Early in my transition, I loved cooking a lot, and I used cooking to cope with my stress and my panic. And so I made a bunch of food, and then I realized I couldn't eat it all. So I was inviting people over to my house on Saturdays, come to my house and eat free food. And watching people enjoy that was itself a coping mechanism for me personally. So yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. All right, now we get to go to the funny part. This is where you're all going to laugh at me. So, approaching life from a different perspective. Now, oh, right. By the way, I need to put something in the chat for everybody to see this, because there are apparently people that don't know who this is.
Not naming names or anything.
I might have gone and looked up a video.
Oh, I should have thought about that.
Because there are people that apparently do not know who David Attenborough is. And I'm sorry, I'm a higher educated person. It's difficult for me to imagine that there's literary people that do not know who he is specifically. But
are you saying I'm stupid? Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say that. So Attenborough was a British broadcaster and nature historian who he had like I don't know how else to say this. He had the Barry White of documentary voices, like on par with, like, how Morgan Freeman like narrates something and it's like, oh my God, that's super awesome or whatever.
Well, I thought of Morgan Freeman when you were talking about that. Yeah.
So you live inside your head and you judge every move, you catastrophize every outcome. You narrate your life, at least I do on occasion, like a prosecutor building a case against myself. And so you shouldn't do that. And so what I find is narrating my internal voice with certain, with certain litmus and diction. So in this case, David Attenborough. And so I will tell a story using David Attenborough like diction about an experience that I had yesterday. And so this was the exercise is to do it like Attenborough would have done it, not sound like Attenborough, which would be dysphoric to some people in this live and certainly other people watching. But basically, so here we have two specimens of the modern urban ecosystem engaging what biologists call recognition behavior. The first subject, our trans woman, occupies physical space that the commercial garment industry has systematically failed to accommodate, because that's completely true. Note, the 4X sizing requirement driven entirely by her shoulder width. Her shoulder width. A peculiar evolutionary mismatch between human skeletal structure and capitalism's standardized measurement indicators. The second subject, a lesbian identifying seamstress, initiates conversation. Observe how quickly they bypass the typical mammalian stranger danger protocols. Both have developed highly attuned recognition systems for others who navigate similar marginal territories. The conversation begins, hands gesturing about fabric. Fascinating, the seamstress immediately understands the clothing dilemma not as an aesthetic preference, but as a spatial mathematic. Her trade has taught her that what the fashion industry refuses to acknowledge, that bodies exist in infinite variation, yet garments are manufactured in a mere 6 to 8 category situation, which creates dysphoria for everyone involved. She sees the problem immediately. Shoulders that could carry the world forced into fabric designed for an entirely different body architecture. Notice the body language, the mutual lean, the absence of defensive posturing. The two individuals who've each learned to read hostile environments are now experiencing something rather rare, being seen by the other person. The lesbian woman's hands demonstrate seam placement. Our trans subject shoulders visibly relax by approximately 15 degrees while having this experience. The chance encounter will last perhaps 4 more stops along the train, but observe how quickly trust establishes itself when recognition, mutual recognition, occurs. There's no peacocking, there's no territorial display, there's no urinating in a circle on the floor. Simply two humans who understand that the world was not designed with their measurements in mind, and finding momentary asylum in a conversation, really. And really what it was I ran into a seamstress on the train who was talking about, you look like you poured yourself into that dress and you shouldn't do that. And I'm a seamstress and I'm trans friendly and queer friendly, and here's my card. Oh, there.
I can't follow that. I literally have nothing. I feel like I needed a week to prepare for that.
Oh. Tell them about the lunchbox.
Oh, geez.
I can show them the picture. Well, wait, I don't have my phone up here. You're lucky. You're lucky. I don't have my phone up here.
I mean, I'm the one that took the picture, so. I still don't think I can do this in the right style, or find where my pictures actually are. What the heck? All right, my phone's malfunctioning. Yeah, where did I even? All right, there it is. My goodness. All right. I don't know if I'm mirrored or not. I think I am. How do I fix that? Hold on. So while I was at work, my buddy Kyle went to go get his lunch. And he comes back and he's carrying this cute little white lunchbox. Not something I expected him to be carrying. He sits it down on his desk, and in large print red letters, it says human organ for transplant. I don't know if...
I'm totally buying that lunchbox.
So yeah, he uses that every day for work. And he tells me a story about how when he went to go pick up prep documents for me from our repair garage, the lady that runs it evidently had seen it, and the next day she's like, I want to ask you something, but it might not be any of my business. And she's like hemming and hawing about asking him about this lunchbox, and finally gets it out. And so he explained to her that he had gotten it at where did he say it was? Something to do with props or something. But he got it when he was out of town on some trip. And yeah, so that's the lunchbox. But on the bottom of it, it actually says that it's not intended for transporting human organs, which I thought was entertaining. I had to put that.
I feel so let down.
I mean, I've got a sign on my wall that says organ donations accepted here.
That was not the literary masterpiece that I was quite expecting.
I told you I couldn't follow that.
Oh.
I am not infused enough for creating literary masterpieces.
Oh.
So really, what was your? So now I'm just going to ask you, Brandon, so that you don't have to think about it. So really, how was your last conversation with the mystery
guy? It was fine. We had talked about meeting last week, and it didn't work out, and then, well, we've just gone back and forth about different times and stuff, because he lives farther away, and so we kind of have to meet in the middle somewhere, and still, it's not just 10 minutes away, so gotta plan my day around that kind of thing. But it'll happen one of these days, sooner rather than later.
Oh, try to have confidence. If you're talking to this person still,
yes,
and you haven't been ghosted. By the way, your deep voice sounds really sexy.
I'm gearing up for my documentary.
Yes. Okay. Well, there you go. So, please continue.
I even put the thing on my microphone here to help with it. I don't know if it does anything. Here we see the quintessential gay man in his natural habitat, in peaceful slumber. His homosexuality or gayness is prominently displayed by the satin eye mask he dons upon his sensitive pupils. His beauty sleep is rudely interrupted, disturbed at the ungodly hour of 5 o'clock in the morning by the whiniest kitten you have ever seen. The cat requires sustenance. He cannot wait until most humans get up 7 or 8 a.m. No. We must awaken the master, the master, at 5 a.m. The gay man stumbles out of bed, rips off the satin eye mask, blindly groping for his robe. As he stumbles into the kitchen, he opens the door for his other cat, who is waiting to be let in. He stubs his toe, lets out an expletive before going to the refrigerator to get the can of cat food. After feeding the feral felines, he then goes back down the hallway to his bed, disrobes, and climbs back in, hoping to catch a few more minutes of sleep. Sleep, however, eludes him, and so he tosses and turns and finally gets up and makes his morning coffee. The coffee does not come soon enough. He checks his phone and sees dozens of notifications, but cannot read through his blurry eyes. He pours his coffee and sits down in front of his computer and begins his day, as he does every other day. The monotony boring into his soul. I can't think of anything else. That's pretty much the way my day goes.
Okay, who here agrees that Brandon should just do voice work?
Brandon needs to read some of Lisa's Happy Bunny stuff.
Happy. I think I've heard her read one of those in one of her lives before.
Oh my.
I do voiceovers for my own articles at least, but not in that style.
See, I'm lazy that way. I won't do it because I hate my voice. But the Beehive provides like 26 voices that will do the audio podcast broad voiceovers automatically. And so, like, I pick weirdly, if you've never listened to one of my articles, I always pick the gender fluid person voice or whatever that has like that rich, just super relaxing tone or whatever. So we're over the hour, so Miranda, you don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Sarah was worried about following you, and then Brandon did that, and I was like, no, not fair.
I promise the Mondays point 4 topic will be much more interesting. I'm just going to tell you, I thought about making everybody do a Robin Williams stand-up bit about a random. Yeah, but what I need to do is find who's a good, funny, queer comedian that everybody's heard of. Right. So I don't know. So I promise next week on Mondays, Deep Exhale, it'll be more interesting.
If there's something creative like that, I need time to prepare because I cannot just pull that out of my ass.
Why not? Brandon did such an amazing job.
I did think about it though beforehand.
Brandon did such an amazing job.
I can't. I'm not that quick on my feet. I don't know what to say.
Well, my day didn't get far into it before I ran out of things.
Wendy gave us the finger.
We got the hold on finger, not the normal finger. There we go.
There we
There's
go.
The day's not complete.
I literally, there's a fucking outage happening at work that I'm not included in, by the way, and I don't want to be, but people are asking me questions. I'm like, fine, okay, here, throw this switch, hit this lever.
yeah, they're trying to loop you in.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So in closing, I'll just say this: in the calculus of survival, all of this stuff serves a critical function. The subject that will carry this interaction forward, proof that comprehension exists somewhere in that noise. So a seamstress on the train, or this micro victory or that. It all carries and continues that trajectory, and the ecosystem absorbs those transactions of dignity as much as it does those transactions of negativity. And we find a way to mold that all together so that we get through from point A to point B. Because really, that's all any of us is trying to do, is get from point A to point B. Yeah. Does anybody have anything else? Whew. I'm still a little hot and sweaty from Brandon's talk. Whew. Okay. Everybody good for Monday at 1?
Oh yeah, I'm not even going into work on Monday.
Oh, right, because
I forgot about that.
It's Dr. King's.
I mean, I still have to work. I'm just not going into the office.
Well, maybe Trump will implode on himself over the weekend and things will get better. Yes, Brandon, we need to just hire you to be like the narrative voice for every person, and you'll make millions of dollars.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Julie says Brandon can narrate my life anytime.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. You can narrate.
Oh, I don't have the Substack chat up. I don't even know what's going on there.
Oh, there's some good copy there. So, all right. Well, with that, I will bring it to a close. Thank you for everybody that's listening on YouTube, on Substack, on Instagram. We were streaming to Instagram. Although not many people watch the Instagram stream, but oh well, whatever. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to share with you guys a little minor detail. Blue Sky is going to start a streaming service. So that you can start proctoring streaming services through Blue Sky and doing notifications and shit.
Yeah, they want to catch the exodus from TikTok whenever.
Yeah, so right. So
happens.
I was gonna say
Right.
it's about time they start catching up.
Yeah, so Blue Sky is starting to drift into Substack. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if they go into Substack space, and I could get live status notifications from Blue Sky, I won't broadcast on Substack anymore. Mainly because, for whatever reason, I have 10,000 followers on Blue Sky. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but it did happen. I have a crazy number of followers on Blue Sky. So, whenever I post shit there, I always have some positive interaction.
I have tens of followers on Blue Sky.
Same here.
So what I need to do is I just need to make a starter pack for all 10,000 of my followers, and then just give that to everybody, and you can have 10,000 followers too.
I can confidently say I have 0 followers on Blue Sky because I don't have an account.
Maybe you should. It's not a toxic wasteland like Twitter is or whatever.
Yet.
No, I don't. People say that. I don't think it'll. I don't think Blue Sky will ever go into a toxic waste dump like Twitter has. Because when Nazis register accounts there, they don't last very long. They usually get like group blocked and then or whatever. So Blue Sky.
Yeah, the blocking functions on Blue Sky and the ability to do like block lists helps a lot.
Yeah, it clearly does. Clearly it does. So, all right. Well, thank you for everybody that watched. We'll see you again on Monday at 1:00. I may do a midday on Sunday. We'll just kind of see how that works and how that works out. But if I don't, we'll be back here on Monday at 1. Please, everybody, have a good weekend. Do good things. Miranda, Sarah, Brandon, I love you all. Thank you for participating.
Love you.
So, goodbye, everybody. Be safe out there.
Bye.